Priscilla Presley has made an absolutely jaw-dropping claim that has sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. She revealed that Pastor Bob Joyce is in fact her ex-husband, Elvis Presley. Yes, you heard that right, the legendary king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, might have been quietly living under the radar all these years, far from the glitz and chaos of fame. Before we dive deep into this jaw-dropping revelation, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on more mind-blowing content like this. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. And, of course, drop a comment below letting us know what you think about this theory. Let's get the conversation going. This extraordinary revelation has forced us to rethink everything we thought we knew about Elvis's life, his death, and what might have happened after. Could it be possible that Elvis Presley staged his own death to escape the relentless pressures of stardom? This is a theory that fans have whispered about for years, but now, with Priscilla's cryptic comment, the mystery deepens. Let's dig into this incredible revelation and explore what it means for the legacy of one of the greatest cultural icons the world has ever known. When we think of Elvis Presley, we think of gold records, iconic performances, and an influence that has lasted decades. His voice, his charisma, and those unmistakable moves have captivated fans for generations. But what if Elvis didn't leave the building after all? What if, instead, he simply disappeared from the spotlight to live a quieter life away from the screaming crowds and flashing cameras? We're all familiar with the official story. Elvis Presley was found dead at his Graceland mansion in August 1977, an apparent victim of heart failure, a tragic end to a life full of excess and fame. But even then, something didn't feel right. Fans questioned the sudden nature of his death, and over the years, rumors began to swirl that perhaps the king had faked his own death to escape the pressures of fame. These theories were fueled by strange sightings, peculiar comments, and, now, Priscilla's shocking revelation. Could the quiet pastor, Bob Joyce, be Elvis in disguise? Let's take a closer look at this theory. Enter Pastor Bob Joyce, a humble man who lives a simple life in the small town of Benton, Arkansas. Joyce, however, is far from just a regular pastor. His striking resemblance to an older Elvis Presley has sparked a firestorm of speculation. From his face to his voice, even the way he smiles and carries himself, there are uncanny similarities to the king. Some have even gone so far as to claim that Joyce could be Elvis in disguise. But it doesn't end there. Videos comparing Joyce's sermons to classic Elvis performances only seem to deepen the mystery. The way he moves, the twinkle in his eyes, the familiarity in his voice, it's almost impossible to ignore. Could it really be the king of rock and roll standing at the pulpit, preaching a life of faith instead of performing on stage? For years, the idea that Elvis might have faked his own death to escape fame has been dismissed as a wild conspiracy theory. But when you look at the facts, the idea doesn't seem as outlandish as it once did. The more you examine Bob Joyce's behavior, his demeanor, and the incredible resemblance to Elvis, the more it feels like something is being hidden in plain sight. What makes this theory even more compelling is Priscilla Presley's response when asked about it. Her words have been cryptic at best, vague enough to leave fans wondering. Could it be that she knows something we don't? Could she be confirming the theory without directly saying it? Let's take a closer look at some of the most compelling pieces of evidence that have people talking. First, there's the striking resemblance between Bob Joyce and Elvis Presley. As time passes, Elvis's appearance has become a symbol of a different era, one where his youth and vitality have been frozen in time through countless photographs and performances. And yet, when you see Bob Joyce, it's hard not to see Elvis's features staring back at you. The face, the eyes, the smile, all of it seems so familiar. Some people claim that it's merely a coincidence, but is it really? And what about the voice? Bob Joyce has a smooth, rich tone that many argue is nearly identical to Elvis's voice in his later years. His mannerisms, the way he holds a microphone, even the cadence of his speech, all these details evoke the spirit of the king himself. But the most telling aspect of this whole theory lies in Priscilla Presley's response. When asked point-blank about Bob Joyce's resemblance to Elvis, she didn't shut the rumor down. She could have easily laughed off the suggestion, brushed it aside with a, "No, Elvis is gone," and that would have been the end of it. But instead, her response was far more cryptic. She spoke of Elvis's struggles with fame, his longing for a simpler life, and how the pressures of being an international icon became overwhelming. Could it be that these vague statements are subtle hints that Elvis, the man she knew intimately, found a way to escape his own fame by faking his death? In an interview not too long ago, Priscilla was asked again about the rumors. Her response was simple, yet filled with meaning. People see what they want to see. Now, that's a loaded statement. Could she be referring to the fans who are desperate to believe that Elvis is still out there, living a quiet life? Or could she be hinting at the fact that Elvis did, in fact, manage to disappear, and we're all just seeing what we want to see? She could have said, "No, Elvis is gone," but she didn't. Instead, her response leaves room for interpretation, and the more you think about it, the more it feels like she's deliberately keeping the mystery alive. And that's not all. Priscilla also made a more telling comment in another interview when she said, "Sometimes the past has a way of finding its own voice." What does that mean? Is she acknowledging that Elvis, even if he's no longer physically with us, is still somehow part of our lives, still somehow present, still finding a way to be heard? Is it possible that this was Priscilla's subtle way of hinting at the truth, that the king of rock and roll may have never really left us? It's easy to dismiss these statements as vague or meaningless, but when you connect the dots, it's hard not to be intrigued. Could Elvis have staged the ultimate disappearing act, taking on a new identity to escape the unrelenting pressures of fame? If we're being honest, it's not so difficult to believe. After all, Elvis lived his life under a constant microscope. Every move he made, every word he said was scrutinized by the media and his fans. The pressure was unrelenting. Perhaps he grew tired of the flashing lights, the constant attention, and the sense of being trapped in a golden cage. So, what if he decided to step out of that cage, to reclaim his privacy, and live the life he always wanted? Think about it. Bob Joyce, the man who many claim is Elvis in disguise, has chosen a completely different path in life. He's not performing for thousands of screaming fans or shaking his hips on national television. Instead, he's living a peaceful life as a pastor, preaching to a small congregation in a modest church. Yet, the resemblance to Elvis is impossible to ignore. The way he speaks, the way he moves, the way he holds the microphone, everything about him feels so eerily familiar. And the fact that he hasn't denied the rumors makes it all the more intriguing. Why doesn't he shut them down? Why doesn't he simply say, "No, I'm not Elvis"? Instead, he continues to live his life without addressing the speculation, almost as if he's letting the mystery linger. Could this be Elvis's way of reclaiming his freedom, of finally finding peace away from the spotlight? Perhaps he wanted to live a life of simplicity, one where he could make a difference in the world without the constant pressure of fame. And maybe, just maybe, he found that life in Benton, Arkansas, as Pastor Bob Joyce. But there's more to the theory than just resemblance. Consider the strange occurrences that have followed the king's supposed death. Numerous Elvis sightings have occurred over the years, with people claiming to have seen him at gas stations, in grocery stores, and even in random small towns across America. Most of these sightings were brushed off as hoaxes, the wishful thinking of hardcore fans who just couldn't let go of their idol. But what if some of these sightings were real? What if Elvis was alive, and he was quietly slipping through the cracks, staying hidden from the media's relentless gaze? And then, there's the case of Elvis's mysterious behavior prior to his death. Reports indicate that he seemed unusually reclusive in his final years, withdrawing from public life, and even canceling many performances. His final public appearance was in 1977, but he looked noticeably different, pale, disheveled, and disconnected. Could it be that Elvis had already begun his exit strategy even then, setting up the groundwork for his staged disappearance? Fans have long speculated that Elvis had been preparing for something, and the signs were there. The hints were scattered all over, but no one connected the dots until now. In the end, the question remains, did Elvis fake his death? And if he did, where is he now? Could Pastor Bob Joyce really be the man who once shook the world with his music and charisma? Or is this theory just an elaborate hoax designed to keep the legend of Elvis alive forever? As we continue to explore this incredible possibility, we want to hear from you. Do you believe that Elvis Presley could have staged his own death to escape the pressures of fame? Could he really be living among us today, under a different name? Or is this theory nothing more than another conspiracy theory fueled by wishful thinking? Let us know in the comments below, and let's continue this fascinating conversation. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the mystery of Elvis Presley's possible escape from the spotlight, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss out on more fascinating stories and theories like this one. We love hearing your thoughts, so leave a comment below and share this video with anyone who's a fan of Elvis or loves a good conspiracy theory. Remember, the truth is often stranger than fiction, and sometimes, the king of rock and roll may have found the greatest performance of his life not on stage, but in the life he chose to lead after fame. Stay curious, and, as always, keep questioning the world around you. See you in the next video.